Round one scheduled for 10.
First thing I want to see is how Hino reacts. He has a new trainer since his last bout in Normal Lord down in Star City, so I'd like to see what adjustments he made.
Nuamu, a southpaw, and punch and pack comes in. Looks a little heavier than we've seen him in the past.
Well, he probably figured he need to bring a couple more pounds into Hino, because Hino's known to be a big puncher. Could be a psychological factor.
Nuamu coming in at 199. Ahikaminor at a solid 194. And we talk about how awkward Pat Nuamu is. Steve, how does Hino Ahikaminor, 11-0, combat the awkwardness of Pat Nuamu?
Well, if he gets close, he can bang the body, and that awkwardness will disappear. But mostly you just want to stay consistent with good technique, and the awkwardness of your opponent will work against him.
Look at the age difference. Ahikaminor 24, Nuamu 32. How do you normally want to fight a southpaw?
Well, you want to.
Go ahead, Brian.
I'm sorry, Steve. You want to move close. You know, work the jab. A lot of people don't believe in working the jab on the southpaw. Work the jab. Throw the right hand. The right hand would be there all day on the southpaw, and finish up with the left hook. You just have to keep them boxed in, just like that, but no left hook.
Left hook gets in. Nuamu keeping that right hand down toward his waist. Ahikaminor has been criticized in the past for not establishing his jab. This will be the perfect opportunity for Hino to get in using that jab against the awkward Nuamu.
Well, believe it or not, both these guys are pretty similar, even inside the ring. Hino averages 54 punches a round each fight, whereas Punch and Pat brings 47 punches a round. So both these guys are pretty even with the output.
Hino making the jump from 6-rounders to 10-rounders. That's a big jump.
Nice body shot by Punch and Pat.
Once you get out, guys, free him up.
So you wonder, will the work rate be a little slower for Hino because he's thinking about having to go 10 on a hot night here?
That's why I brought that up.
Yep.
Ahikaminor coming off a unanimous decision against John Douglas. Going 6 rounds.
And Hino is allowing Punch and Pat to dictate this. Punch and Pat is sort of BSing his way through. Maybe the southpaw stance is confusing.
And again, maybe Hino a little more concerned with pace than he should be. But you're right, he's not initiating much right now.
Only the first round scheduled for 10 for the New York State Cruiserweight title.
Once you get out, guys, let's go. Once you get out. Come on, free him up. Free him up.
Round 2 scheduled for 10 for the New York State Cruiserweight title. Gus Johnson, Brian Adams, Steve Farhood here. Nuamu in the first round landed 7 of 26 jabs. Ahikaminor 0 of 11 jabs. So Ahikaminor did not land a jab in the first round. As you take a look at the punches in round 1, Nuamu throwing 40, landing 8. Ahikaminor throwing 23, landing 6. Ahikaminor has to get a little busier as this fight progresses. There's that stiff jab by Nuamu, punching from his hip, or jabbing from his hip.
Well, awkward position, because you never really see that coming up. And Pat looks very comfortable. Early in his fight, second round, he looks very comfortable in there.
Don't punch him.
Brian, you think Hino should be pressing more, going forward more?
He needs to be moving forward more. He needs to be throwing more punches. As long as you stand in front of a guy and do nothing, the guy's going to punch.
Ahikaminor, though, not schooled against lefties or southpaws. Could be a very confusing situation for him.
And that's what you don't want to do. Hino's trying to counterpunch the southpaw. That's what you want to lead. You want to make the southpaw make mistakes. You don't want to try to counterpunch the southpaw, especially a defensive southpaw like Punch and Pat.
Left hook gets in for Ahikaminor.
Free him up, guys. Come on, free him up on your own. On your own. Free him up, Pat.
Punch and Pat looks very confident.
Yeah, he does. He is awkward. You know, he doesn't really fight textbook at all.
He don't give you much to hit, but that's why you have to create openings. You can't try to wait for him to make a mistake. You have to create openings.
And the best way to create openings against a southpaw, if you do want to throw that right hand, is to use your left hand to the body and to the head, and it will open up a pathway for the right hand to go straight down the pipe.
Punching it out, guys.
I think the reason Punching Pat is controlling the pace of this fight is he's either been way outside or smothering Hino. But he's very rarely been in range to get hit. That's why he's not getting hit much.
Nuamu's so relaxed, standing in the center of the ring, just waiting for a hic and or.
I mean, I wonder if these guys ever sparred together, because Pat looks like he know what to expect.
Very uneventful second round for both fighters.
Seconds down, Vito. Seconds down, no. Come on now. Let's go, seconds.
Round 3 scheduled for 10 for the New York State Cruiserweight title. Hino Ahikaminor in the black and red, Punching Pat Nuamu in the white and blue. Gentlemen, how do you have this fight scored so far?
First round, I thought clearly went to Punching Pat. Second round was close. I have it 1-1.
I scored on both rounds for Punching Pat. I thought he just did more. He controlled the pace in the second round, so I gave it to Punching Pat.
Punches thrown in round 2. Ahikaminor throwing 32, landing 9. Nuamu, not very much of a difference. Both fighters tentative to start.
I'm quite sure Punching Pat is perfectly fine with this pace. He knows the one that needs to change the pace.
Now Ahikaminor starting to move in.
I don't understand why Punching Pat
Bring him up, guys.
turned orthodox. He's doing fine by me on southpaw.
Well, he wants to keep young Hino Ahikaminor totally confused.
And now Hino turns southpaw, right?
Come on,
Go
guys.
figure.
Bring him up, bring him up. Even. Punch, no punching. Bring him up, guys. Come on.
I don't recall Hino fighting left-handed too often in the past here on Broadway Boxing.
Nice body shot by Ahikaminor.
You know, there's a long way to go in this fight, obviously, being a 10-rounder, but I'm a little disappointed in Hino's efforts so far. I want to see him force the pace a little more. If he thinks that he's a future cruiserweight contender, and he's not that far from it, he's got to go out and get this guy. Maybe not get rid of him, but get him. And he's not doing that.
No, I agree.
He's doing nothing to show that he's the classier fighter.
And the jab is still missing for Ahikaminor. Nice uppercut thrown by Nuamu. Sends Ahikaminor back to the ropes.
Yeah, what Nuamu just did with that left hand is what Hino should be doing with his right hand. The best weapon against the southpaw is the right hand, whether it follows the jab or not. And he's not letting it go. He's not throwing enough right hand leads.
See, in my opinion, that's a problem with throwing him in with a southpaw with a new trainer. He never got a chance to be comfortable fighting a southpaw with one style.
Good point.
1 to 2. Up, Hino.
Round 4 scheduled for 10 for the New York State Cruiserweight title. Hino Ahikaminor in black, Punching Pat Nuamu in white. And through 3 rounds, Hino Ahikaminor only threw 28 punches in the last round, landing 6. Nuamu 35, landing 8. Total punches through 3.
Well, it's a pretty low amount, 26-20. For 3 rounds, that's very low. That's single-digit average per round.
There's a body shot getting in. Nuamu tries to flurry, and Ahikaminor ties him up.
You know, former middleweight champion Vito Antuofermo is in Punching Pat's corner, and boy, if anybody knows how effective southpaws can be, it's Vito. He fought Marvin Hagler twice. He fought Alan Minter. Those were two very tough southpaws that he lost to. So he knows, and he used to, I remember him years ago telling me, the way to fight a southpaw, Brian, you kind of alluded to this, get inside against them, because then they're not southpaws anymore.
Punching Pat looked just so comfortable and confident.
It's not that he's doing that much. You can see he's waiting a lot himself, but he's doing a little more than he knows.
He's controlling the pace. And speaking from experience, once you're in there, after about 4 or 5 rounds, if you're going at this pace where you're unsure, the rest of the fight you're going to be unsure.
You remember your first southpaw opponent, Brian?
My first 6 opponents were southpaw.
No.
My first 6 opponents in the pro were southpaw.
Who was your manager, the Marquis de Sade or what? 6 southpaws in a row, and when you fought a righty, you didn't know what to do, right?
Right. Well, my last year in the amateurs, when I won the U.S. Championships, I fought 3 southpaws to win a title.
Wow.
There's a good left hook by a Hickaminor. And that illustrates what we've talked about before. If you use the left hand against the southpaw, you have a better chance of success.
But he knows throwing 1 punch, 2 punches at a time, you need to put them together.
He knows being a little more aggressive, not much more aggressive, but a little more aggressive this round. And only time will tell whether he's been quiet so far because of the sense of pace and he was worried about going 10, or whether he's just confused against the lefty.
Once you get out, guys, let's work it, work it.
17 seconds to go in the 4th. All right, round number 5 scheduled for 10 for the New York State Cruiserweight title. Hinoa Hickaminor in black, Pat Nuamo in white. And gentlemen, how do you have this fight scored so far?
Well, I have it 2-2, Gus, and something tells me Brian's going to disagree, but neither guy has done a lot, and you really have to almost start counting individual shots to determine who wins the round.
Well, I scored it, three rounds for Punching Pat and 1 round even, having 40-37.
Nuamo now changing to orthodox. As you take a look at the punches in the 4th round, Nuamo throwing 33, landing 7. Hickaminor only landing 8 punches, but a Hickaminor has to put more pressure on Pat Nuamo, keep that left foot outside of Pat Nuamo's right foot, and put pressure on him by working stuff inside. And he hasn't done that. That'll set up the right hand.
You're right. The more punches he put together, the more opportunities he has. Because as Steve alluded to in the replay there, Punching Pat, he makes mistakes. He pulled back. He slips 1 punch, but he pulls way back. So if you come back with 3 and 4, you're going to hit him.
You mean he pulls straight back?
Pulls straight back with his hands down.
But a Hickaminor has not made the commitment to fighting an aggressive fight. There's a beautiful straight right hand getting through for Hickaminor.